Everybody else find your notes. Okay, here we go. Altos, sopranos, tenors. In loving kindness Jesus came, my soul in mercy to reclaim, and from the depths of sin and shame, through grace He lifted me. Okay, now, we're going to get better at this. As a deer, 843. This is just an exercise, and I hope you understand that all we're doing is going through doing some exercises on finding your pitch. You as a congregation actually have the ability to do that. When the leader gets up there and he calls the number and he's going, if that's the key of the song, which is D, that should be the do, mi, so, do, mi. As the deer panteth for the water, so my soul longs after you, thee. Okay, I forgot this song changed all the words. This version changed all the words in the song. But what you have is the ability when the leader steps up there and he gives you the book, and you've got the book, and you can see, and he goes, do, mi, so, you know where you're going? Or do, so, mi, do. Whatever your note is, doesn't really matter. You can pick that note from anywhere, just literally almost, and if you work at it, you can pick it almost out of thin air. Not really truly thin air. You've got to have a starting place. Let's do one more. Well, we've already done that song today. 839. Actually, we could pick any song in the book, but these are just some that I had picked out. Now on this one, the sopranos and the altos actually are singing the so, the tenors are singing the mi, and the basses are singing the do. That's the bass note, that's a do, tenors, do, so, altos and sopranos. What a song of delight in the city so bright, when we wafted 'neath heaven's fair dome. How the ransom will sing happy songs in His praise, when all of God's singers get home. When all of God's singers get home, whenever a sorrow will come, there'll be no place like home. When all of God's singers get home, hold that home. Hold it, home. A little louder, a little softer. Not all the way out. A little louder. A little louder. You hear that chord structure? It's the exact same chord structure you basically started out with, except different people were singing different parts. It's still the same major chord structure. It's the same in every song, except for how many in this book, at least we know of? 3. Is there 3? What's the other one? Okay, I didn't realize that was in this book. Okay, so there's 3 songs in this book that don't start or end in a major chord structure. No problem, right? Let's continue on. All right, we've already talked about the sharps and the flats. You've already talked about in the leader section your keys. Now, let's see. I want to change just one thing here. Multiple timings. How many of you know what a multiple timing song is? Few? Oh, there's one in every bunch, isn't there? That's exactly right. I mean, you know, I ask a question, I expect an answer. Let's look at number 588. Actually, we probably should have picked a little bit easier one to start out with. However, what do we mean by multiple timings? And obviously we said a song with multiple times in it. If you notice that this particular song starts out in a 3/4 time, correct? So the leader is going to beat 3 beats per measure, typically. There are some other variations to that. However, in this particular song, we are going to beat 3. When we get to the 12/8, what's happened? And we changed the time signature. That's most definite. But do we typically change the tempo of the song? Now, those are two different questions. Do we change the tempo of the song, or do you just change the beat pattern? Now, what I mean by that, if I were to take this little tap counter out here, I love it. Somebody's already asked me, what is that? Application. That's good. I'm glad they did. Sinners Jesus will receive, sound this word of grace to all, who the heavenly pathway leave, all who linger, all who fall, sing it o'er and o'er again, Christ received. We're still 89, 88, 90 beats per measure. The tempo of the song remains the same. Now your structure and the feel of the song changes. Okay? I know that may be a little odd. We sing it quite often. We don't understand it maybe. One song that I know of right offhand is Ready to Suffer. Ready to suffer grief for, let's see. Ready to suffer grief. That's not right either. Whew. I've got this song in my mind. We'll get to that song in a minute. Let's sing this song, and I want you just to tap your foot. Okay? You can tap your toes. Well, this is not like Jackson Heights. We have a full basement under our auditorium. So if you want to hear somebody playing bass drum, just show up on Sunday morning and you'll hear somebody playing bass drum with their foot. And it's typically me, but I'm not trying to do it intentionally. I forget to do it. But let's do this. Let's do this song. Measure note. That's a bass and alto. Somebody help me a tenor. Soprano. Look this way. Sinners Jesus will receive, sound this word of grace to all, who the heavenly pathway leave, all who linger, all who fall, sing it o'er and o'er again. Christ receive a sinful man. Make the message clear and plain. Christ receive a sinful man. Okay? That time, if you were tapping your toes, you would probably see that we kept roughly the same tempo. Now, I was up here trying to keep the tempo on this to figure it out. We were about 76 beats per minute. Now, why do I bring this up? When I was a kid growing up, I didn't understand, and maybe this was something that we need to address. Just because a song changes time signatures does not mean it changes tempo. Okay? Just because it changes time signatures does not mean it changes the basic tempo. Okay? I can take a song of 5/4 and 7/8 and 3/4 and 6/8 and 12/8 and 2/2, And I can do down on every beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now I changed what, 5, 6 different styles in there? But did I change the tempo of the song? No. Tempo of the song and the beat count are two different things. All the beat count tells you is you're changing the number of notes and the way the song is written. And it's because maybe that's the way people sing it, maybe they changed something in it. Let's look at Christ Returneth, number 96. Now these next two songs, how many of you know this song? Anybody know this one? Good. If you look at this song, it is 3/4. 4/4. What does that mean? Does alternate measures. Besides the pickup note of it, the may be at is in 3/4. Mourn when thee is what kind of, is how many beats? What's the next measure? 3 beats. What's the next measure? Where it says waking, rest, when, right at the end of the first line. It's a 4. So what you have on this song, it may be at morn when the day is awaking, when sunlight through darkness and shadow is breaking, that Jesus will come in the fullness of glory to receive from the world His own. Oh, Lord Jesus. And then you notice it changed in the chorus straight to 3/4. So just because you see time signatures, don't get all concerned about it, because we're not near going to take the time to be able to discuss note values and links and all that other stuff, because we could be here all night discussing that, and all next week and all the week after. Just know that some songs are like that. We typically don't sing very many of them. We sang one this morning well, let me put it this way. We typically don't sing that many that are in that type of style with a 3/4, 4/4 like this, Christ Returneth, because it's a little difficult to sing. Let's look at Ready to Suffer. Ready to Suffer is one of those that you don't want to lead right before the preacher gets up to speak. This is a 9/8/6/8. Ready to suffer. I got to get the right. I got a key. Oh, I'm sorry. 546. I'm sorry. I apologize. 546. Ready to suffer grief or pain, ready to stand the test. Now we sing this song quite more often. We don't realize that change is going on, do we? How many of you know this song? If you've sung it, you typically don't know that those changes are going on. And I just say that to bring it up, that sometimes things change like that we are not aware of. But if you were to take just a moment and look at the first line of the sentence, or the first line, you would say, something doesn't look right. That's got too many numbers up there in the front end. Okay? That's all we're going to say about that. We're getting close to the end here. I hope that you understand that singing is not a passive activity. It is not something that you sit in your pew on Sunday morning or Sunday night or Wednesday night and you sit there. And I hope that if you don't know the song, that you will at least try it. I think we found that out this morning. My mom and I were talking at lunch just for 30 seconds, literally at lunch. And you all took to Blood Flowing Down seemingly very easily. It's not a very hard song to sing, but you were generally singing it and singing it well very quickly with only one actual practice run through of the song. By the time we got to the service, you actually went through the entire song without any problems. I hope that you know, as we've talked about everything today, that singing is not just a passive activity. It's also understanding the words and the music. It's also understanding the leader's direction. And it also takes in preparation. I know that you all have a number of leaders here, and I know that they would love for you to give them your favorite list, right? Every time, every service. They would love to take your favorite list and lead every one of your favorite songs. But how many songs are in this book? 990 songs. Have you ever thought about that just a minute? Let's think about that. Let's do a little math. 990 songs. How many weeks in a year? 52. Somebody got a calculator out right quick? 990 divided by 52. Well, let's just say 1,000 divided by 50. How many songs is that per Sunday? It's 20 songs per Sunday. How many songs do you sing on Sunday? 5, 6 on Sunday morning? How many on Sunday night? Average. 7 or 8? Okay. Well, let's say that you sang 15 songs. How many songs does that leave at the end of the year that you haven't sung? If you sang a different song for every single service. Do you realize the average congregation knows 200 songs well? How many of them that you don't know well? 790 that you don't know as well as the other 200? You take that apart, break it apart. How many, has anybody ever taken this book and said, I know this one, 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 this one? Anybody ever done that? How many songs did you find? Just a good guess, maybe half of them that you would recognize maybe if somebody started singing it? And how long have you been here? How many? 35 years. That's quite a lot, isn't it? There is a listing on paperlesshymnal.com that you can get. It's an Excel spreadsheet that lists right at 4,000 songs that have been in different books that they know of. There are a lot of songs that never were recorded. There are songs in that listing that they have the title and that's all they have of the song. So singing is just not a passive activity. Now there's some songs we may not like, we may not enjoy. It may not be what we want to sing. Look at 982. How many of you know this song? We shall assemble on the mountain. We shall assemble at the throne. Now this is another minor front end song. I forgot about this one being in this book. So there's 4. Every other song pretty much is going to start. What about 983? How many of you know that one? Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not the wrong one. That's not the right one. I apologize. I was thinking that was the other one. Flip the page, 984. You are Lord of creation and Lord of my life, Lord of the land and the sea. You are Lord of the heavens before there was time, and Lord of all, Lord, you will be. We bow down. Okay. You, Lord, we bow down. And we worship you, Lord, we bow down, and we worship you, Lord. Lord of all, Lord, you will be. Okay. Let's look at one more, and I'm going to lead this one here in just a little while because I'm going to save this for our singing together, but I want us to go through it one time. 120. I don't know that any of you know this. If you do, please raise your hand because I hope we've just got just more than me. Any of you know we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Okay, my bunch doesn't count. 6. All right. Let's look at the song. Let's look at the words of this song, because this one, and I'd like to leave you with a couple of songs new that you can work on, and you guys can make copies of Blood Flowing Down if you like that song. If it's easy for you to sing, you feel comfortable singing it, please do. Make copies of that and use it as you need to. Day by day and with each passing moment, strength I find to meet my trials here. (1986), actually 1987. I received a phone call, and the phone call was from one of the elders that was at Jackson Heights, and he said, "My son is leaving, and he's going back to Freed Hardeman to do some work at Freed Hardeman." And I don't know how many of you know Keith Danley. If you're familiar with Freed Hardeman, he was at Freed as a student. He was also there working in their what? Advancement department. I'm not sure exactly what his job was there at the time. I had known Keith for pretty much all my life. His parents had gone to Jackson Heights as well, and this was the last song I ever heard him lead. In October of that year, and I'm trying to remember what year it was it 96, 97, somewhere around in there probably? I guess it's been quite a while. He came up to me at a singing, and he said, I just want y'all to be praying for me. And I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "Well," he said, "I've had some bleeding issues, and I've got to go see the doctor, and it doesn't look very good." Well, I said, "Well, yeah, we'll obviously do that." At the end of that singing, this was the last song that he led, and then he had to go back to Henderson that day. He drove back to Henderson. Of course, we heard, obviously, it was cancer. It had already spread to his liver. It was quite spread all around through his body. And anyway, it wasn't but a couple of more months after that he passed away. But I learned this song from that first time that he was there. And I know we all have songs that we hear and that we've learned and we've heard, but this song has such beautiful words, and if you think about the words, and if I think about the words and I think about him, it is very difficult, because day by day, with each passing moment, strength I find to meet my trials here. You know what kind of trials he was ready to meet. We all know what kind of trials he was ready to meet. Trusting him in his Father's wise bestowment, I have no cause for worry or for fear. And knowing Keith, he didn't. He didn't. He whose heart is kind beyond all measure gives unto each day what he deems best. Lovingly, it's part of pain and pleasure, mingling toil with peace and rest. Every day the Lord himself is near me with a special mercy for each hour. All my cares and he fain would bear and cheer me, he whose name is Counselor and Power. And then help me then in every tribulation, so to trust thy promises, O Lord, that I lose not faith, sweet consolation offered with me within thy holy word. Help me, Lord, when toil and trouble meeting ere to take, as from a Father's hand, one by one, the days, the moments fleeting, till I reach the promised land. This way. Day by day, when with each passing moment, strength I find to meet my trials here, trusting in my Father's wise bestowment, I've no cause for worry or for fear. He whose heart is kind beyond no measure gives unto each day what he deems best, lovingly. It's part of pain and pleasure, mingling toil with peace and rest. Every day the Lord himself is near me, with a special mercy for each hour. All my cares he fain would bear to cheer me, whose name is Counselor and Power. The protection of his child and treasure is a charge that on himself he laid. As thy days, thy strength shall be in measure. This the pledge to me he made. And we'll save the last verse for a little bit. Again, I have thoroughly enjoyed myself today. I appreciate each one of you for singing, for being here. I hope I didn't put you to sleep. I know that Lonnie ate good at lunch. He's still awake. Jackie's back there punching, right? I do appreciate the opportunity to come over. You are more than welcome anytime at Jackson Heights. We are there. I've been there for 24 years and hopefully a few more. And I hope that the ladies, if you got to talk to my mom and tell her thank you for being here today as well, I know she would tell you thank you for allowing her that opportunity as well. And anytime you're in Florence, whether you're hunting or in Waterloo or hunting rabbit or deer or squirrel or whatever, you come by and visit. We're there most all the time. We're going to take just probably a 10-minute break to kind of get everybody situated and get you back in your regular official seat, right? But I hope you'll come back into these seats here, because this is the last bit of singing we'll do for this last hour. I'd like to see everybody right here, and we'll have a great singing. We'll have some of the other gentlemen that lead for you regularly. We'll work on a couple of songs, we'll pull out day by day again. And I'm going to see if I can find another new one or two, and we'll go through some of those as well for you. Thank you so much.